Hello, this is Kristen Codes, and I'm coding every day until I become a web developer. And yesterday we learned prototypal inheritance, which was a very long hour and a half affair. But today we are going to do the project library in the JavaScript course for Front End Mentor. So let's begin. So it is the project library JavaScript course. Introduction. Let's extend the book example from the previous lesson and turn it into a small library app. If you haven't already, set up a Git repository for your project with a skeleton HTML, CSS, and JS files. From here on out, we'll assume that you have already done this. All of your book objects are going to be stored in an array, so you'll need a constructor for books. Then add a separate function. So you know what, I'm gonna just do this in order. So we're gonna go to GitHub. Profile, where are we? Repositories, new, and this one is going to be called hold on, what? That didn't do right. What's supposed to happen is, there we go. So this is the library project, Odin Project, library project. Odin, not Odin. Odin Project, library project. By the way, is it bad if people see this? I don't know if it's bad if people see this. I'm gonna just cover it up. Boop, boop, oh. Boop. All right. So we're going to copy that. Open PowerShell. Do a little bit. And then do okay, so that's done. Then we're gonna go into Visual Studio. We're going to open a folder, and we're going to open the library project folder, and we are going to create some new files. So the first file, so we can just fix that. So the first file we're gonna make, and my God, will this stop opening Copilot? I need to find a way. If y'all know a way for it to stop opening Copilot, please let me know, because I'm so tired of Copilot. And it's like way off in the distance. All right. Okay, so new file, which is going to be index.html, new file, style.css, new file, script.js. Alrighty, and why don't we just go ahead and set all that up? So we have our we got that. Let's put the source. Hold on. Usually there's a source with a okay. Then we have our link. And we have our style.css. And we have our I'm gonna say library project. All right. We're just gonna put use strict. And we're just gonna put some general CSS styling. Box sizing. Border box. Okay. All right. So we got that. So let's see. So we set up our Git repository. Okay, so it says all of your book objects are going to be stored in an array. So you'll need a constructor for books. So let's do that. We're gonna say function book. All right. Then add a separate function. Okay, so then add a separate function to the script, not inside the constructor, that can take some arguments, create a book from those arguments, and store the new book object into an array. Okay. Also, all of your book objects should have a unique ID, which can be generated using crypto.random.uid. This ensures each book has a unique and stable identifier, preventing issues when books are removed or rearranged. Your code should look something like this. Okay. Const library equal an empty array, and then the book, I'm assuming the book is going to have like a name, let's see, the function should look through an array. It doesn't say, so let's just give it a name and an ID, and we're going to say this dot name equal name, and this dot ID equal ID. Okay, and so then we need also all of your book objects should have a unique ID. So can we say, can I just say, I've never used this before, random. I've never done that before, but this is what it's going to be today. All right, so we just need a name. Then add a separate function to the script that can take some arguments, create a book from those arguments, and store the new book object into an array. So we need a new function, create add book. Create add book. I'm gonna make it long. I don't care. Library. I know that's a long name. Create add book to library. Okay, so we got create add book to library, and it's gonna need a name. Or we're gonna say book name, and then I'm assuming it's going to need an array. Can I do that? Well, we'll see. I've never put the brackets like that there before. I don't know if that's gonna work. So we can then say const book name equal new book name, and we're gonna say book name, and then we're going to, hold on, do I have to, hold on, how do I, Hold up. I wonder, can I do... I've never ran into this problem before. Okay, so no, I can't do that. That shouldn't be book name. That should be book. And then I guess I could put book name or new book. And then we're going to, we could literally just say library dot push dot push. Wonder, can we do this? Hold on. Yeah. No. All right. Or can I do something like this? That right there? I wonder, can I do that? I don't know. All right. So why don't we just first let's make the background. Let's make the body background color black. Let's make the text green, and all right, so we did that part. I want to test this though. Somebody told me I should start using try and stuff. So why don't I say try, hold up, try catch? Is that how you do it? You know what? Actually, I'm not going to do that right now. Let's just, we're going to get there. Const new book equal new book, book name. Okay, so we got that. So now I want to print some stuff to the console. So let's go live. Okay, and so we got our, we're going to inspect element and console. Okay, so what we're going to do is, and then we're going to console.log. Can we do console.log library? All right. So, actually, console. I wonder, can we do this? I've never done this before. So let's see if you could do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to server respond with a status of 404 not found. No, you're there. You're there. You're there, buddy. We're there. All right. So we are going to do create add book to library, and we're going to call the book horror movie, and we're going to say library. Okay. Okay. Nothing happened. Why didn't anything happen? Oh, okay, so something is wrong. Let's start it over. Go live. Inspect element. Console. library project. Okay, so that's working. Script.js source. Did I do this wrong? Oh yeah, I did. Okay, so that's not what we should do. So we won't be doing that. So we're gonna change this to current library. Book, horror movie, bam. So what if I want to add another book? Let's see, create, add book to library, sci-fi book, library. It still just says book. But what if I want to name those books something different? Hold on, I need to remember how to add object to arrays JavaScript. What the heck he's talking about? Prototypes push. I want each book to have its own name, but I'm forgetting array things. I'm forgetting things about arrays. So let's come back to that. Let's just move on. All right. So the next thing we need is write a function that loops through the array and displays each book on the page. You can display them in some sort of table or each on their own card. It might help for now to manually add a few books to your array so you can see the display. While it might look easier to manipulate the display of books directly rather than store their data in an array first, from here forward, you should think of these responsibilities separately. We'll delve deeper into this concept later, but when developing applications, we want the flexibility to recreate elements in various ways using the same underlying data. Therefore, consider the logic for displaying books to the user and the book structure and hold all information as distinct entities. This separation will enhance the maintainability and scalability of your code. Add a new book button you want to add a new book button that brings up a form allowing users to input the details for the new book and add it to the library, author, title, number of pages. Okay, so that's what we need. So we're gonna say let's say title. All right. Author. Title, author, pages. This dot author equal author. This dot pages equal pages. So we're gonna call this Control D. We're gonna call this book title, book author, and book pages. All right. All right. Okay. So now it says add a new book button that brings, okay, so write a function that loops through the array and displays each book on the page. You can display them in some sort of table or each on their own card. It might help for now to manually add a few books to your array so you can see the display. Okay, let's look up some stuff. Let's look up library database UI. This looks cool. This looks cool right here. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. We got a picture. Well, maybe we're not going to do pictures right now, but we can definitely do like this table thing right here. That's nice. I like that. That's real nice. Okay. So we are going to our index.html, and well, first we're gonna set the body to display grid place content center, and we are going to give the body and the HTML a height of 100%. Okay, so that's that. So we got a height of 100%. It's right in the middle. Now what we want to do is we want to, why don't we just set up a library card template thingy. So we're going to do div dot library card, and then in that library card we want the div for the, why don't we just call it book. We're going to call it book, and then we're going to do div title, div author. Actually, no, we don't have to do all that. We could say book info, then we can say an unordered list, and li times 3, and we're gonna have title, author, pages, and we need one for the, let me see, what did I call that? I said the ID. Okay. And why don't we set that background color to gray? It did not show. That's okay. Sample, sample, sample. All 100%. We want the whole book. We're gonna say unordered list, list style, none. Let's make this, let's actually do gray. Okay. Padding to rim. Okay. And How did this look? They had it spread out like that. I think that's nice. Book, background color gray. Let's delete this. And then we're going to, we're just going to say display. Actually, let's put that right here. Display flex. No, okay, wrong. Dot book. Oh, UL. Display flex. Justify content. Space between. Gap. Gap. 1 rem. Gap. 2.5 rem. Okay. Why don't we make the padding a little less? Why don't we say border radius 8 pixels? See, how did this one do it? Why don't I make it why don't we create a div called library? We have a div called library. Okay. And then why don't we make with 800, hold on. Min with 800 pixels. All right. Let's add a border. Let's add more padding. And then we're gonna add a do something like that. Library display flex direction column gap 1.3 rem. Okay, actually we could do 1 rem. That's not bad. Okay, and then what I want, instead of it being book, we can make it library, because right here it has like a little category thing, right there. So I want it to have library, let's call it library labels. Oops. Dot library ul. That's weird. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we want to put, well, first let's change this to, let's say the color is going to be white. Okay, that's clear. And then we're going to say title, author, title, author, page number, and book ID. Bam. And we are going to change book labels to have a padding of 1 rem. Let's make that 0.5 rem. Okay. And I wonder, actually no, it would need to have the same. We need to have the same. Oh, I know what I can do. Okay. All right. So now we got that. Okay. We're going to ignore that whistling outside. I don't know what that is. And then, okay, write a function that loops through the array and displays each book on the page. You can display them in some sort of table or each on their own. So I forgot how to like add new sections to a, but we're gonna cross that bridge because I want to add multiple sections to this. Okay, let's see. So we're going to add content, set the inner HTML or the text content property of the new div to add content. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. I should have known that already. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's give this utilities, utilities. Check my phone. Check the phone. The phone is done. We're going to have a class of hidden and we're going to say display none. Okay, that should take it out of the thing when we try to do the thing. And now what we need to do is okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to say function um, populate library, and we're just going to take in um, the current library. And what that's going to do is, let's see, why don't I give this display, yeah, why don't we give this a display of hidden? Not the library, but not the labels, but the book. All right. So now that we got that, what I want to do is, okay, we're gonna say document dot, hold on, we're gonna say const book element equal let's go ahead and okay, I wonder, can I get the library as a child? So let's do const library element equal document dot query selector. I think it was just library. Let's check. Yep. And then I think I can do library element dot, I think it's a pin child book element. But it's hidden. So how do I make it not hidden? Well, let's take hidden off first. And did this actually work? Oh, clone node. Okay, so that worked. That worked. And when we create this new book element, I'm gonna have to get the class list. I wonder, we'll cross that bridge. Okay. So let's, so when we create the book, when we populate the library, we want to loop. I wonder, can we do a for each on an array? Can we do library dot for each? See how that works? I rarely use for each, but I want to use it now. So let's see. For each JavaScript array. So it's going to say, okay, so here's the array, and that for each element, we're going to console.log element. Oh, okay. Now for each element, we are going to take the book and we want to create a new element. So I think what we need to do is, so we need the names title, author, and pages. So we need the title, author, page, and book ID actually. It's going to create its own ID. Okay. So how are we going to do this? Well, first, I'm going to say const new book element equals book element dot clone node true. Then I'm going to go into that new book element dot class. Hold up. I should be able to go into the class list, right? Yeah. I think it's with the period. We'll see. All right. Then we're going to say new book element, and we want to populate we want to say element dot query selector title dot text content. Why isn't it popping up? I hate when it does that. Equals what is it? Library. Now we're going to do current library element dot title. I hope I'm doing this right, but it's okay. And we're gonna copy that. Let me check my phone real fast, y'all. All right. Okay, so we need the title, we need the author, title, author, pages, and ID. And it's going to be dot author dot pages dot ID. And now I'm going to say create so I'm going to say create add book to library. We're going to say that it's called blue colors. The author is Chris, and the pages are 5. And then we're going to and then we're going to say library. And then we're going to say populate library. Oh Lord. Okay. What is it saying? Okay, well let's not run that yet. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's erase this. And let's say library. So library has 1 book. So if we do library, if we do library dot for each, and then we say element element. Hold on, what? Hold on. I'm forgetting stuff, y'all. Hold on. Stop. Okay, let's see. What? Undefined. What if I just console.log E? Okay. That's weird. Element. Okay, whatever. Whatever. I was entering it and in wrong. So let's just. Okay. So now we're gonna do populate library. Is it there? Hello? Are you there? Can I say CLG new book element? Okay. 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 So we're tracking, but it's not displaying because we did not append it. Library element dot append child new book element. There we go. There we go. We have done it. But for some reason, this isn't working. That query selector author. We did text content, right? Is it telling me that that book does not have an author? Let's go into library. And that book, author undefined. Oh. Okay, there we go. Bam. The only problem is this long thing right there. That's a little bit too long, y'all. But we got it. So now what we need to do is we need a way to add an element. So we're just gonna do that. What if I call populate library twice? That's not good. That's not good. Okay, so I think when populate library does this thing, the first thing I'm gonna have to do is go to the library element and remove all its children. Remove all children from element JavaScript. Let's not look at the AI. Can I get an array of all children? Okay, so we got that. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is okay, so basically for we're not gonna do it like that. For const child of library element dot children, can we just do child dot row? Let's see if that works. So if we do populate library twice, oh no, oh no. Isn't there a dot include? Oh, contains. That did not work. How do I remove the element? I can't just say I can't do that. I'm messing stuff up, yeah. All right. My bad if I'm so quiet. Oh, it's 11 o'clock already. I'm gonna have to upload this. Current library. Okay, we're gonna stop right there. But first, actually, before we stop, I'm just gonna go library element dot remove child. Did that work? Huh? That did work. Because if we do this another time, yep, it did work. But if we were to remove this, yep, so this did work. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's what we did today. Sorry if I was so quiet. I was very focused. So that's what we did today. And tomorrow, or I'm gonna finish it. I always say I'm gonna upload earlier, but I think I'm gonna upload earlier today. Tomorrow. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful day.